Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Redragon K530 Draconic. This is a 60% compact wireless RGB keyboard that has Bluetooth 5.0, RGB backlighting, and brown switches. And this is an unboxing video where I'll be talking to you about what the keyboard's like, what's included in it, the highlights and lowlights of this device. Now, I was approached by Redragon to do a video on this keyboard because they like the other ones that I've done and wanted to see what I thought of this, and I wasn't too sure what I was going to feel about this keyboard because it is a reasonably cheap keyboard that's set you back around $60 or £70, and it's also very compact. I'm not usually a fan of compact keyboards. I find TKL ones a bit too small and I miss the numpad. This is even smaller at 60% and basically involves jamming a lot of keys inside other keys and obviously getting rid of other things like multimedia keys and things like that. So if you want something really compact, then this is obviously an option. However, I will say that I am actually impressed with it. It's a very nice looking keyboard, as you saw at the beginning, and you'll see as it comes out of the box, and it also has a number of really nice and interesting features to it, and the design is actually really good. The build quality is really good, and they've got a number of really good features in it as well, and considering the price point, it stands out from the crowd, not least of which is for hot-swappable switches that I'll show you a bit later on. And inside the box you get this little box here of samples of other switches. Now they're Redragon's own switch, but they are actually compatible with standard caps, PBT double shot keycaps for example, and replace the keycaps on the keyboard as standard and change out the look and feel of it the way you want it, and I'll show you that a bit later on. So that's a good highlight. It's not a proprietary key switch setup, so that means you can change it and customize it the way you want to, but out of the box, as you can see, it looks really nice. This is the white one. It's available in black too. Tiny little thing, comes with RGB lighting. I'll show you a bit later on. There's software for it, but it is a plug and play device. You'll note immediately as well, USB-C charging port on the left hand side. Bluetooth, now this is said to connect to 3 different Bluetooth connections, 3 different options on the side there, B1, B2, B3, works with PC, tablet and smartphone, so it's designed to be multi-compatible. As standard, it comes with these brown dust-proof switches. There are other options and I'll show you those in a bit. I'm going to do a separate video to just show off the key sounds, so if you're interested in hearing what the keyboard sounds like without me talking over the top of it, then be sure to check that out, and I'll link to that in the description. I actually found this keyboard to be very satisfying and nice to use in wired mode. I want to talk about the problems I've had with Bluetooth, because I have had some issues with the Bluetooth connectivity. That is worth covering. I also let my wife loose on this keyboard and she found it was pretty good too. There are some design quirks that I'll show you as I'm going through, and perhaps minor downsides probably caused by the cost of it. I mean, after all, it is a very cheap keyboard. Compare it with the Logitech G915 TKL that I just reviewed recently, and that's £200, so a lot more expensive. So this is interesting for a variety of different reasons. As I said, inside the box you get a little sample of the other Redragon key switches, and you can see black, brown, red and blue ones here, all with different actuation levels, and I'll include in the description specifications and all the details you need to know about these, but here you can see them up close and personal. As I said, the keyboard comes as standard with the brown ones installed, which are actually pretty quiet. You'll have heard quite a lot of noise from the keyboard, but it is actually quite quiet to type on, very comfortable to use. And you also get a removal tool to take the caps off, which isn't that great. I've seen better ones, but also a tool to remove the switches. As I said, these are hot swappable switches, so you can actually take them out and replace them with other ones. So you can obviously purchase different ones from Redragon and then switch those out to your personal preference. Here you can see the brown ones in action that it comes with. There's no tactile response in terms of the actuation, so most of the sound actually comes from the keycaps and the key switch itself, but not in the same way as the blues, which I'm about to show you. The blue that comes in there as a sample, I swapped out the control button, the brown switch here, with the blue one. It's a bit of a fiddle, but there's a little gripper tool and you can just pull it on the top and bottom and then it comes out eventually. I'm very clumsy at these sorts of things, as you can see, but you see there's 2 little pins in the bottom corner there, and you can just basically line up the pins with the other switches and then plug them in. It's a plug and play affair, there's no soldering or messing about there, so you just pop it out and pop the other one in and away you go, and it sits in there perfectly as well. Here you can just about hear the difference between those switches. There's a very slight click and more tactile feedback from the blue. So if you want something that's a bit more, you can feel it in your fingers and get that feedback and perhaps a bit more noise to it, then blue is a better option. And I'll show you in a second what brown versus blue seems like. And also just check out that other video, as I said, to hear the difference and get a good overview of the sound difference as well. So blue's on the left on the control, and then the brown window key. You can see brown almost makes no noise at all, whereas blue has quite a big click to it, and you can feel that in the click of it as well. So it shows what the different setup of it is. And if you're looking for something with a slightly more quiet response, and the brown's nice. The fact that it's hot swappable on the keyboard at this price is really good. As I said, the keycaps are switchable with other ones too, but I want to show slight imperfections on the design of the standard keycaps. You can see just around the edges they're a bit rough at the back, not particularly fantastic. And again, that's another potential problem. So here I have a Corsair double shot PBT keycap that I wanted to test and see whether it would fit on this Redragon keyboard, and the good news is that it does. So that means that you can basically purchase PBT double shot keycaps and upgrade the look and feel of it perhaps. It is worth noting though, as you'll see from this video, that because it's a 60% keyboard, there are other functions built into those keycaps. So you can see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is also doubles up as the function keys. W, as you can see here on the left, also is a directional button. So your directional arrows are now in the WASD keys, and that requires pressing the function, one of the function buttons, to then use the directional arrows. And that is a minor frustration for me. If you're used to 60% keyboards, you probably already know about this setup anyway, but essentially this keyboard actually has 2 function keys, whereas a normal one would only have 1. And keys that you'd normally find separately on the keyboard are now inside other key presses. So as I said, WASD has the directional arrows, P is print screen, and then you've got page up, page down, insert, delete, home and end. They're all built into other ones as well. And the function keys, as you'll see at the top of this clip in a second, are all built into the number keys. So if you want to use F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, you have to press a function key first. So it essentially means that you end up pressing 2 keys to do one action that would normally require on a standard keyboard, and you can see them here marked. So if you do upgrade the keycaps, then you'll find you don't have that labeling anymore, and it's worth bearing that in mind. However, the overall design of this thing initially is very nice, very striking, and looks really nice. I think it's a really well designed bit of kit and very nice. I have had some gripes with the Bluetooth connectivity, as I said. It is a Bluetooth device, pairs and works with Bluetooth 5.0, and I've not had any problems connecting as such. I just noticed there's sometimes a lag or a discrepancy between the input and what's received by the computer and the action on there. I didn't find it as accurate. However, I do like the USB-C connection. That is solid and there's no problems there, so I think I'd probably prefer to use this plugged in. I think it's worth bearing in mind though, because it is Bluetooth, there's no wireless dongle, and I just had some issues with the connectivity, and I looked online and there's a few other reviewers also complaining about the same sort of problem, so it's worth bearing in mind. If you're looking for a wireless keyboard, you may have problems with this. It might be unique to me, or other people might have had similar issues, minor problems, but as I said, it does connect to multiple different devices. You can see B1, B2, B3 here. It gives you the different pairing options for PC, smartphone and tablets as well, so you can connect it to other things. Also has obviously a 3000 milliamp battery, so it's designed to be long lasting and keep on going, and it's a plug and play device. You don't need any software. There is some software included, and I'll include a link to that in the description. It is pretty underwhelming in terms of software designs. I can't even give you a clip of it because it's just not that impressive, and it comes up very tiny on PC for some reason, so it wouldn't look for good footage, but you can change things in there, and I'll show you the RGB lighting a bit later on. Underneath, obviously, textured rubberized feet to to lift it off the desk a bit, what you will notice is the keyboard has a slight slant to it anyway. There is no wrist rest with it. It's very much just what it is. 60% keyboard, sits on the desk, very compact and small, doesn't take up much room. If you want something that's portable but also looks really neat, it does look the part. It's a very nicely designed device. USB-C with an angled cable inside, so you can also angle the cable whichever way you want, whether that's front and back. And obviously USB-C in that way means that you could get an aftermarket connection as well and really make it look nice with a proper customized USB-C cable at the rear. Now there are a number of RGB options on here, and you can switch between those using the function key, and the F10, F11 and F12 buttons turn the brightness up and down, as you can see I'm doing here, and switching between the different modes. And you can also do it in the software too. There are numerous different patterns and schemes within this lighting customization. It actually looks really nice, really good setup. And it's fairly bright. It's not the best RGB lighting I've seen, but it is pretty neat. You can see here, if you reach the top level of brightness or the lowest level, the caps lock button flashes red to let you know that when you just press on those buttons you've hit that top level, which I think is a nice little touch as well. Now you can adjust it on the keyboard itself, or you can tweak it within the software. It's also per key within the software as well, so you can customize that. You'll also note at the top you'll see G1, G2, G3, G4, those buttons. You can also record macros, and you can record lighting on the keyboard. So it's really plug and play. You don't even need the software. You can actually just press the function buttons and hold a specific button on the keyboard, and the manual talks you through all these things, and then you can record up to 64 key presses, I believe, as the macro combinations, and have those as macro buttons. Or you can customize the lighting by pressing and holding buttons and selecting which ones you want lit up as well. Fairly nuts. A lot easier to use the software for that. However, it is nice that you can do all those. But then once again, the gripes for me are that you have to press the function key and multiple keys for standard use on simple things, simple buttons, and even with the macros. But all in all, for the price, this is a fantastic little keyboard. Hope you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. Be sure to check out the other one to hear the keyboard sounds in all their glory. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.